Hey everyone, we're live. Welcome back to the shop. What is this guy doing? I don't know if you can see that little bug. He's trying to get some light. Uh, haven't seen you guys in a couple of days. We've been doing I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff on the limo, sort of stuff you guys can't really see. Namely wiring underneath the dash, which is really hard for me to get a camera in there because the dash is only that wide. And even for me to get my hands in there is really difficult. So um, I might get a whiteboard and draw it out for what you guys for what I did and all this other stuff. The other good part is we have a bunch of upgrades coming tomorrow. Driving over to the other coast of Florida and picking up a friend of mine is kind enough to bring down some parts from my other shop. Going to pick up a new distributor and new plug wires and some other stuff for the limo. Which would be really cool because I'll show you guys what's coming. We have a MSD ignition, and these are really, really, really super cool ignitions, especially for high horsepower V8s. These are very, very, very nice. This came with the original Sniper that I had on the 454, and I wasn't going to use it on the Blueprint engine because it already had a decent distributor. I swapped out the distributor. I wasn't really happy with that one. So we're going to go with the original distributor that came from Blueprint along with the MSD because they're both MSD. So we're going to do that. And the other thing that I did, this was yesterday. What is it caught on? Okay. Was this is the connector for the MSD. It goes to different components and power and stuff. But what I did, and I don't know if you guys can see that sleeving? That's all new. That heat shrink and that sleeving all the way down to the power connectors and the Sniper connector and all of that. So we did a bunch of sleeving. If you guys want a video on how to do this sleeving and keep it where, you know, everything is still movable but nice and tight. Now I haven't finished up this end, obviously. It's just taped up so it doesn't fray. And then depending on where we trim these wires at, then we'll finish up this end. We'll trim this off, get the heat shrink on there, call it done. So that's the other thing that that I was working on yesterday. And sleeving stuff isn't very thrilling, but if you guys want me to show you how to do it, and I'll just do it on a short little stretch of wire, because when you do something like this, which is another one of the projects, when you're doing a gigantic line like this, which is, I think this is 18 feet. And these are the connectors. These are the sensors for the airline. And obviously the tape is not going away. This is also power and the sensors for the airbags. This will tell me what pressure is in each airbag of the limo. So I know sleeving's not very sexy, but if you guys want to see how to do that, it's not very difficult. It's great protection for the wires, and it also cleans up a lot of wiring inside. So you know these wires are always going to stay together. There's no reason to have them separate, and it helps with abrasion. It helps with heat. Although they're not, sleeving is not really heat preventative so much as it's one extra layer that heat has to get through. But like a heat gun can go right through it. It's mainly to keep stuff bundled together so that you know this is all the stuff for the air system, this is all the stuff for the MSD, whatever. It's a nice way to do it. So that stuff is coming. So we'll have a new distributor going in tomorrow. If I can, I'll show you guys how to replace a distributor. It's not very difficult on V8s. It's different on other engines, but I'll show you the basics on a V8. Just need to make sure you're top dead center. Set it to 1, slide it. It should actually just drop right in. Tighten it down, and then you can do a test fire, and it should work. So we'll go through that. If you guys really want to see that, actually, I'll do it anyway. So That's fun. And then we'll also have a little gauge pod up front. We have a lot of electrical stuff coming up. And that's because the electrical in this car was a horror show when I got it. You guys have seen how much electrical stuff I've done to it. So we have a lot of electrical coming up, and hopefully you guys are prepared for that. Um, it'll be really, really nice when it's all done. The other thing I'm doing is I'm touching up some paint, some little tiny rust spots that have been driving me crazy. So doing some touch up just because I know this whole thing's getting repainted, but I've got to do this touch up stuff because it is mentally messing with me. So tonight I wanted to go through some stuff, a good score. Hopefully you guys like the joke. I thought it was kind of funny in the title, or in the description, but I don't know. A lot of people will get upset about it, and that's fine. It's meant to be humorous because there's nothing funny about racism. So anyway, and I wanted to talk to you guys about gear and getting gear, taking advantage of these Black Friday sales. A lot of Black Friday sales, everyone runs out and they got to get an 80-inch TV and wait in line at Best Buy and all that shit. Okay, if that's what you really want to do. But don't be afraid to be a little bit selfish and score some stuff for yourself, or point out to Santa that there's a great Black Friday sale at Bell Helmets or Alpine Stars or RaceQuip, or they happen to have XYZ on sale this coming Friday. So take a look at those, and that way you can get really nice gear at a serious discount. So, and thanks to Rockstar, I don't get a discount on any Rockstar, and no cases have shown up yet, even though I put this stuff away like it's a contest. All right. So I'm going to go through the gear, kind of most important to least most important. And you guys can pick and choose what you need depending on what you're going to be doing in the car. So some folks just autocross. That's cool. Some folks autocross and track day, and that's cool. Some folks want to do full blast road course racing. That's cool. Some folks are straight line only, 1320. They want an 8-second car. That's cool too. Dirt track is life. Whatever. This is stuff you're going to want no matter where you're going with your vehicle. Whether you're turning or whether you're not, whether you're on dry pavement, whether you're on dirt, it doesn't matter. So this is stuff that is really, really important, and it is a huge, huge safety is, I mean, you can't really put a price tag on safety. The stuff they do in professional racing and the safety standards they have are far beyond whatever, we're doing at a local autocross. And there's a reason for that. The speeds are higher, the competition is fiercer, the tracks are more dangerous. It's one of those, they are investing in safety because otherwise they'd just be replacing drivers every 2 races. So they're being smart about it. So I'm going to start from most important to least most important, and we'll just go through the list. This is not a complete list by any stretch. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can get if you really need to, but these are all of the basics from top to bottom, or from bottom to top, however you want to gauge it or list it or whatever. So first thing, we'll just go through my gear. This is all my personal gear. This is a Bell helmet, and I did get this on Black Friday sale. This is a Bell M8 Carbon, and this is a really nice carbon fiber helmet. It is crazy lightweight. It's maybe 1.5 pounds. Shit, it even has my name on it. How cool is that? That's actually for the Lemons car, because we have a camera over there that looks right here, and that way you can see my name. This helmet is a SA 2020, I believe, or 20. Yeah, it's not a 2025 because those just came out. It's an SA 2020. When you get a helmet, you want to look for SA. SA stands for Sport Auto, and that is the Snell rating, and that is required by everyone. The Snell rating is going to be inside your helmet behind one of the pads. See that little orange sticker in there? If you guys can see that. What does that say? SA 2020? Yep. It's upside down. Sorry. SA 2020. That's what you want. If you happen to get a new one, you'll have an SA 2025. Helmet ratings are good for 10 years. So you can have this thing for 10 years, which is great. It'll pass tech at every event, every auto sport event you go to in the United States and Europe. Snell is a worldwide testing company, and they test all these helmets, and they do different tests for SA, which is sport auto, and they do different tests for M, which is motorcycle. Motorcycle helmets are tested different, so they're not rated for automobile events. Conversely, auto helmets are not rated for motorcycle events. So if you're going to go race MotoGP, you can't take one of these. You have to go get an Arai. They make really kick-ass helmets, but you have to get a motocross helmet. The one downside is everyone is doing this, and it drives you absolutely bonkers. There are logos literally everywhere. They put them wherever the hell they can. I mean, there's 4 on here. I think I did peel the one off the front on my other one. I think there was one on the back that I took off too. So yeah, they're just branding the shit out of these things. So sorry about that. This helmet, the carbon, now they make a regular fiberglass version of this, which is about twice the weight. You can get for $500, $600. The SA 2025 version you can get for about $500 or $600. The carbon fiber one is about $1,200 or $1,300. And if you get it on Black Friday, you can get it for about $1,000, a little bit more, which is a steal, because then you can get accessories for it and not feel bad. So like I have my clear shield, which I use on most of the time, but on super sunny days, I have the dichromic blue mirror that I can put on this guy, and he's like $60. So tax or whatever you save on Black Friday, you can get an accessory or accessories. You can get a bunch of different shields. You can get a yellow visor. You can get a smoke, dark smoke, light smoke. And the dichroic stuff comes in red, blue, green. It comes in a whole bunch of different colors. So the other thing you really want to get for your helmet, and some helmets come with this, but some don't, but definitely check. You want to get the Hans posts. And these are, I just got the red. They come in different colors, black, red, silver, blue. It's anodized aluminum. These are about $80 for a pair of these. And these are for your Hans device. Now, all new helmets will have the mounting holes, so you won't have to drill a hole and put an insert in and bolt it in. They'll have mounting holes in them. Anything over, I think SA 2020, they had you put these in. And these mounting systems also work with other, these mounting points work with other systems like the Simpson and other neck restraint devices. So definitely score a set of these too. If you can get them again on Black Friday, that's another bonus for your helmet. All helmets, usually, I shouldn't say all, 99% of helmets come with a bag, and you want to protect your helmet. I saw a kid do a really cool insert, how he took his helmet off and put a bag in there. I can't remember where it is. If I ever find that, I'll save it. But it was, oh, he put the bag on. I remember how he did it now. I'll show you guys how he did it. It was actually pretty cool. So he had just finished racing. And he took his bag. I don't know if you guys can hear me. He took his helmet bag and he just put it on. He took his helmet off, and his helmet was in the bag. He didn't have to fight with it at all. That's smart. So I got to remember that and turn that into a habit. I couldn't remember it. So there's one thing. We're just talking about the Hans devices. This is a really, really, really good idea. The Hans devices are very expensive, but you can get used ones. This one is a large. This is a Hans Sport 2. You can get older ones and get them recertified. It's about $100 to get them recertified. And you send it back to, it's actually Simpson who owns Hans. You send it back to Simpson. They do their testing and scan it, and then they give you a new sticker, and you're rated for another. So this got certified in 23. So I think it's 5 years with these. So I have until 28. And these are great. I also have an adjustable one. This is a large, but I have an adjustable one that has adjustable shoulders that we use for the other racers on the team. What's really nice, especially about Lemons, is you can share your Hans device. You can't really get cooties. I mean, it sits here. It's not really infecting anyone or anything, so it's okay to share. And they are pretty expensive, so it's nice to have these. I want to go back to the helmet quick. No matter what kind of auto stuff you're doing, whether it's autocross and simply, 40, 50 miles an hour around a parking lot, got to have a helmet. You'll be required for SCCA, you'll be required to have a helmet, and they want you to have an SA helmet. If you're doing anything at a drag strip, if you even think your car will do 7 seconds, if you think your car will do 13 seconds, get a helmet. And here's why. I see this guy, what's his name? Misha Shodrin, fantastic driver, and he does all these awesome laps around the Nürburgring and all these amazing cars. And he's pushing 200 plus miles an hour in a lot of these cars. All he has on are gloves. He doesn't have a helmet on. And I've seen what can happen to a human head without a helmet, or with a helmet on, I should say. I've seen it without too, which is not pretty. But I had a friend in Indy Lights a couple of years ago. He had a very bizarre accident where his car got bumped into by another guy, and it popped him up and flipped him over. Now in Indy Lights, they still had the halo. So his head was like this. He's locked into the car, thank God. If he wasn't locked into the car, he just would have folded his head back. But he's doing about 180 miles an hour when his helmet hits the pavement. And it's like a belt sander. And it ground down his helmet almost to the liner inside. By the time he came to a complete stop and the crews got over, there's probably 3 millimeters of helmet left. Now, he has a really nice carbon fiber helmet. It's reinforced. I mean, this is a $1,300 helmet. His helmet is probably $5,000. Worth it. When his car flipped over and he was grinding, I can't imagine what was going through his head. It was incredible. And then, he texted me pictures of his helmet, and he's like, this is the only thing that saved my life. If he didn't have a helmet on, it just would have absolutely shaved his brain. So in a street car, like in the Viper and stuff, you do have the protection of the roof that can help you, but there's a whole bunch of other forces. There's telephone poles, there's other car parts, there's, other stuff out there that can get to your head, even with the windows rolled up and all of that. And the way your body is getting thrown around in an accident, all different angles and all of that stuff, you really want a helmet. Can you imagine hitting your head on this? I have hit my head on this a bunch of times. I would have much rather had a helmet on. But just like when you bonk your head into a shelf or something. Now imagine doing that at, 10 times the speed. It's why you want a helmet. So yeah, and I'll do that trick again because that was really fast. Normally I'm fumbling around trying to get the bag back on, but that trick actually worked pretty well. So please go get a helmet. So where's the it's the headless horseman, right? So you just put the bag on while you have your helmet on. Perfect. It's like a little helmet stand. It works great. All right. So, but most of the time when you're at the track, one of the first things you take off is your helmet because it gets hot in there. Someone's car alarm is going off down the street. Oh, no, it's done. So go get a helmet. It's a wise investment. And then depending on, this is what I tell people, how much is your head worth? If your head's worth $400, go get a $400 helmet. If your head's worth $5,000, go get a stylo carbon fiber, what the Le Mans prototype guys wear. It's whatever fits in your budget as long as it's SA 2020. And that's the most crucial part. SA 2020, and then don't get the cheapest one. By the way, you'll see helmets and they'll say DOT on the back. All that means is that it's stronger than a baseball cap. That's all. The DOT certification is useless. That means it has a chin strap and it covers the majority part of the head. I'm trying to remember DOT certifications for helmet. It's really super basic and totally useless, really. So don't bother with the DOT. You need the Snell rating, and you need SA, no M's. Well, unless you're doing motorcycle stuff, motorcycle gets M. And then the Hans device is great for, like I said, when you're getting thrown around in the car in an accident, your neck is doing all this. And perfect example, just look at Dale Earnhardt. That accident was not brutal, but it turned his light out real quick because of how his neck moved at that. I mean, it was a very regular NASCAR impact and it turned him off. So you get into accidents like that, you get into stuff. I want to say Kenny Powers, but that's not right. It's Kenny Brack at Texas Motor Speedway. Something like 200 G's. Imagine that shit on your neck. Come on. That's nuts. So Hans device is nice. When you get into more serious racing, like competitive racing, open wheel racing, stuff like that, they'll require you to have a Hans. Lemons requires you to have a Hans. NASA, SCCA, HSR, SVRA, they all require Hans. So if you're going to get into that racing, if you're going to step up from autocross and step up from track days, you're going to need a Hans device. So put that in the budget. Helmet. And then next thing, and this is the cool part about Misha, he does have a really nice set of gloves. Gloves you can get, they're not very expensive. You can get a really nice set of gloves for under 120 bucks. I don't know how much these Alpine Stars were. But gloves are built for grip. They are also built to be very lightweight and to be as breathable as possible. They're also Nomex, so if fire does hit them, it's not going to get onto your hands, which is a really good thing, especially if part of your car is on fire and you have to reach a fire extinguisher or whatever. Your hands are actually going to be okay. For a little bit, you only have about 30 seconds before it does burn through. Nomex is not fireproof. It is fire resistant. So gloves are great because it also provides really nice grip on the steering wheel, and it gives you, they still give you a great feel without taking away that sensitivity that you have. So these will be still fairly thin. They're not like work gloves or anything, but they have these little rubber pads that are great grips. So if you have paddle shifts, you're not going to slip off a paddle shift. Gloves. Next up, and this one is, I don't know, I probably should have put it before Hans device, but Racing shoes, and again, depending on how much money you want to spend, these are really nice Alpine Stars SPs. These are, so I'll just compare it to my regular kick around shoes at the shop. Notice the width. I can get to pedals a lot quicker. This really clamps my foot in. This is way more comfortable. Absolutely. They're pretty cool. This is a little bit heavier, but notice the rolled heel versus the not rolled heel. And you can lace these up really tight and you can get a really great feel on the pedals. They're not uncomfortable to wear, but they are really going to clamp your foot in. These do not clamp your foot in. And because they're not as wide, less likely to accidentally hit a pedal. They are also Nomex lined. So if there is a fire, you do have protection. I know these look really tiny. They look like ballet slippers compared to, you know, my other shoes, the comfortable kick around the shop shoes. But these things are really, really great, especially in the car. And they do provide a really great feel on the pedals. They offer an awesome heel toe option because you have that nice big pad right here. And they don't slip very much. They do slip when they get wet. So try and keep them dry. But I absolutely love these shoes. When you do go to get these, it's okay to go maybe a half size. Did I go a half size up or half size down? Nope, I did the exact size. So this is a 10.5. So try to get as close as you can to your actual size. I know Alpine Stars is pretty good. RaceQuip is pretty good with sizing. But you're going to want to lace these nice and snug, not cutting off circulation, but you don't want them as loose as these guys. So racing shoes are really, really nice. And a lot of people might give you shit if you're at the track and you have jeans on and you have racing shoes. But if you're in a Miata with 205s all the way around the corners and a laptop that you're plugging in between sessions, no one's going to give you shit about shoes like this because they know you're heel toeing all day long. So it's okay to have this stuff. I have one of my friends, Luke McGrew, doesn't wear a racing suit. He's one of the fastest guys out there. He's probably top 10 at Pit Race. Rest in peace. So Luke has gloves and a helmet. And I don't think I don't remember if he has shoes or not, but Luke is terrifyingly fast. He is an incredible driver. And, you know, I trust him with any of my vehicles. He doesn't need that stuff. He's not racing up at that level yet where it requires him to do that. So he's having a great time with really nice gloves. He has a really nice helmet. And, you know, he doesn't need a race suit. This is a Alpine Stars race suit, and this is all SFI and FIA certified. This is a 3-layer suit, and it's very thin. The more layers and the thinner, the more expensive. So if you have a 3-layer suit that's really thin, it's going to be super expensive. Now, like the F1 guys, they have suits that are even thinner than this one. This one's really damn thin. It's very comfortable. I don't get too hot in it. It's really, really nice. Also, when you get a suit, try to get a light color. Don't get a black for most of this stuff, because when you're not in the car, you're out in the sun usually, and you're just a baked potato. If you have a black suit on, you're just going to cook in it. So try to get light colors. You know, the blue is another good choice, or try to go with white. And this has, you know, some black in it, but try to go with a lighter color. It helps with keeping heat down because you're going to get dehydrated. Suits are very expensive. You can get them, again, you can go anywhere from like $800 up to, you know, $8,000 or $9,000 for really, really nice 3-layer suit. Again, if you're doing any kind of pro racing, or once you've passed that level where you're into open wheel racing or competitive racing with SCCA, NASA, Lemons, HSR, or whoever, you're going to need a race suit. Lemons requires a race suit for every single driver. You cannot share a race suit. Even if you and your buddy are the same size, you can't share a race suit. Um, I don't know anybody that lets you share a race suit. I think all the um, racing sanctions require you to have your own suit. Um, what I do have is I have spare gear. So when we have other drivers come in, like racing for Lemons, I have spare suits, I have spare shoes, I have spare helmets. That way, if someone wants to race with us, but they don't have 2 grand for, suit and helmet and shoes, yeah. The other thing you'll need, and I kind of packed it away, for most competitive racing, you'll need Nomex socks. And these are regular, very thin socks, but they have the certification in there that everyone likes. And these are actually fairly clean. I think these are, no, no. I can't remember if you do. I think you just do regular wash with these. I don't think it's dry clean. Yep, it's regular wash with these. These are Sparkos, and these are size 44 to 45 up to size 12. Thankfully, I'm only a 10 and a half. Yeah, no ironing and no dry cleaning. So we'll put those in the laundry and get those cleaned up. The suit, I believe, does get dry cleaned. I'm trying to remember on the suit. And that's the other thing about the helmet. You can have the helmet for a maximum of 10 years. About, depending on how many events you do, about a year, maybe 2 into the helmet, it is going to smell like you. It will smell like your sweat. It will have a very distinct odor. You can Febreze it, but it's going to come back. If someone else puts on your helmet, they're going to be like, "Oh, this is disgusting." But when you put it on, it's going to be totally normal. So that's one of the fun things about the helmet. It does kind of become you, because like you're sweating all over the pads and everything else, and it smells like you. That's just how it works out. Um, that's why when you go to the like go-kart track and they have helmet rentals, they'll spray like just Lysol the inside of those helmets after every use. Um, Plus, God knows what other people have in their hair and on their skin and shit. So it's probably a good idea. But that's the basics for race gear. And then the one other thing is a bag. I got this bag. I have 2 bags like this. This is the newer version. The older version has all the spare gear in it and has 1 broken zipper up top. So the new bag, this carries all of my gear. The bag I got on Amazon, it was about $30. It has a handle here and it has roller wheels. So if you want to carry it around the track, although I just carry it like a duffel bag, get a bag, keep all of your gear in there. It's also great at the track for keeping, like, you can put your wallet in the top pockets and your race credentials and everything else in one spot. Put your phone up here, you're not going to lose it. That's why we have a bag. It's kind of our home base. And when you change out of your gear back into your street clothes or suit, if you're Scott Klabundy, you're probably coming out of your race gear into your 3-piece Italian suit. So anyway, all of your stuff will be in one spot. It's not going to be in the truck or possibly in the trailer. Who moved my phone that was on the wheel well? Da, da, da. You're not going to worry about that. Everything's going to be in your bag. So a nice bag, a big duffel bag like this is like $30-$40. Well worth it. Some other stuff, and this is a little bit big. There's obviously room in here, but you can have other things in there like cool suit, cool shirt, cool pants. Those are cooling systems that are inside the car that run, it's actually glycol, but they run it through ice water and cool it off. And that's a cooling system. There's other shields you can have. You can have spares on your gloves, spares on your shoes, extra laces, extra socks, all that stuff. You can have spare stuff in there and you just keep it all in one bag. That's why you get a little bit bigger than you need. But this bag has served me well. The other one I had for, I don't know, 12 years, 10 years. and it served me really well. Like I said, I only broke one zipper, and that was my own fault. I yanked it too hard, and I broke one of these top zippers. There's a couple pockets on top, and I broke one of these zippers. So um, definitely get a bag like that that you can carry around. Also, I'm not afraid to give this to the airline. Zip it all up. Oh, I can't take it as a carry-on. All right, I'll check it. I don't mind. Everything's going to be protected inside there. So um, I guess that's about it on gear. But this is the good part. You can go to all these manufacturers. You can go to Alpine Stars. You can go to Bell. You can go to RaceQuip. You can go to all those manufacturers, and they're going to have big Black Friday sales. Now, for an even better deal, you can go to places like Solo Racer, Safe Racer, Discovery Parts. A lot of retailers will have even better deals. So if RaceQuip is offering 15% off, look for better deals, more than 15% at those other places. The volume that they're doing is going to be different than what the manufacturer's doing. So that's why they're going to offer better deals. But expect somewhere between 10 and 20% off on Black Friday. So if it's $1,000 helmet, you're looking at $900 or $800 for a really, really, really nice helmet for $800, and it's going to last you 10 years. It's $80 a year. And if you figure you do 10 events, that's $8 an event. That's cheaper than a helmet rental. So, and another thing, you can customize your helmet. There are rules about painting and stuff like that, but for the most part, you can make it yours. Like, this comes just straight black 3x3 carbon weave. And, like we added our names on the side of the helmet. So during the live stream, you can tell who's who. I have the Lemon certification stickers down the side of mine. You can sticker bomb it. You can, put dragons or Hello Kitty or whatever the hell you want on there. Most tech is going to be cool with that. Some might tell you have to remove it. There are rules about paint. So check with whoever you're racing with regarding painting a helmet. Sometimes it does, the paint and the primers and the solvents and stuff they use does stuff to either the clear coating or the epoxy in the carbon weave or the epoxy in the fiberglass weave. So that's why they want to check your helmet. And that's why you should check with them. Just don't go in assuming that they're cool with your, badass painted, Art and Senna reproduction. Make sure it's okay. Double check with them before you get that shit done. So that's kind of it. I think you guys have a good basis on what you need in order to get to the basic form of racing, which for most people is going to be autocross. There's a local autocross near you. If you're in the United States, I promise you there's a local autocross near you. Most of them are going to be kind of down for the winter if you're above I-70. If you're below I-70, there's still tons of them. So, or let's say below the 38th parallel, depends on your geek level here. So the very minimum, you're going to want a helmet. Very minimum. And get yourself a helmet for Christmas, There's nothing wrong with being a little bit selfish or asking Santa for one or having Santa deliver you one. And so I did it myself. I have no problems telling folks to do it for themselves. Go right ahead. But the helmet is the really, really important part. Again, your budget is going to dictate what helmet you get. And then I don't think anyone's going to be selling any. There's the SA comes out every 5 years. So there's SA 2015, which is expired now because SA 2025 came out. So, and I think that just came out last month. So it's going to take a while for those helmets to get in stock in places. So you're going to have to wait a little bit. Also, COVID messed everything up because the SA 2020s were supposed to be out in October. They didn't start delivering until like February or March of the following year. It was tough. That's why mine was so late. Because I kept looking around and they didn't make any of the M8s. They had a bunch of other models that were available, but they didn't make the M8s for like almost 2 years. So thanks, COVID. Appreciate that. But again, it's well worth it. I'm very happy with the helmet. I love the vision it provides. I love the lightweight. Going from a thin fiberglass helmet to a really nice carbon fiber helmet, whew, you can be out there forever and your head doesn't get heavy or anything like that. It's really, really nice. Also, look for helmets that have built-in stuff like drink receptacles and radio receptacles, plug ready. Some of them have air. So if you have an air system in the car, you can plug in air, which is nice. The air circulation ones are really nice, really nice. I did run a helmet one. I had an HJC that had an option. You pull off this panel and you could put one of the air intakes and just sent nice, cool air straight down the front. It was great. It was really nice. I only did that for one event, but it was nice. So yeah, that's about it. The helmet is the really, really big part. And if you're out doing YouTube stuff and all of that, please put a helmet on. You know, you can still drive a car with one arm, and there's shit. What is he racing in? He's not racing in DTM anymore. What is Zanardi racing in? You guys will have to remind me. He doesn't have any arms, and he's racing. So if you got a helmet, yeah, that's what you really need. So please just get a helmet. If you're gonna go do dumb stuff, put a helmet on. It's the one really, really important piece. So that's it. I don't want to be, Johnny Raincloud and tell you all the horror stories I've seen with, street racing accidents and, you know, guy's eyeballs and cranium are over here. His lower half of his skull and his car is over here. You guys don't need that shit. Anyway, get a helmet. It's really important. It's one of the best ways to save your life. Best ways. So, yeah, and check out those are the sites that I use. Solar Racer, Safe Racer, Discovery, Discovery Parts. Those guys have they're big dealers. You can check with Jags. Jags. Most of the time they're going to sell drag race stuff. Same with Summit. They're going to sell drag race stuff. So double check the SA 2020 with those guys. Sometimes they have deals. They'll have closeouts or they want to get rid of stock or whatever. So definitely check the dates. Check the dates with all of them just to make sure they don't deliver something that you don't want. Jags and Summit and Speedway is another one. They are also very drag race focused, so they'll have an SFI rating, but they probably won't have an FIA rating. So if you're going to get into serious racing, you'll need to have the FIA rated stuff. If you're just doing drag racing, SFI is the standard in drag racing, and there are different levels of SFI. I think this is 13.1, whatever it is. And there's different levels for different pieces of gear. So double check whatever gear you're getting: shoes, gloves, suit, helmet, all of that stuff. You get into more serious drag racing, there's oxygen systems and all of that. So we don't need to talk about that. That's someone else will tell you what to get when you get to that level, and you don't need my advice. My advice is for the person who just got their cool Mark V Supra and they want to go autocross it. They want to go do track days. Here you go. Between $500 and $2,000 helmet and a nice pair of gloves for a couple $100, you're good to go, and you'll be good for years. So, and then put some of the money into tires and brake pads. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, we've got a lot more Lumos stuff coming up, including tuning. Whoa, come back here. Where did I swear, you guys, I could be Batman. That hooked on a round piece somehow that cord hooked on a round. How can I do that? So we have tuning coming up. And trust me, if you have a Holly Sniper and you have one of the screens, get a pointer. Their touch, the capacitive thing on here is shit. It doesn't work very well at all. I'll touch top left corner and it'll be like delete file. No. So I've been using this is actually the stylus from the head unit in the Viper, but it works great. So, and he's full size. He's not a little tiny guy, but yeah. So we have a bunch of electrical stuff coming up in the limo. And like I said, because everything is so tight up under the dash, I'll draw stuff out on I have a little portable whiteboard. I'll show you what I did uh, with regard to power and with regard to ignition and the alternator. We also have a new alternator that's going to be installed where the current one is. That one is going to go over to our second alternator, which runs, that one runs the passenger side of the car. This alternator runs the driver's side of the car. So I'll show you guys that. I'll show you the battery isolator, all that stuff. I'll draw all this stuff out for you guys so you can see everything that's going. Oh, one fun, crazy thing that I figured out is when that battery for the PDC in the rear, when that battery gets low, if it's not on a maintainer, it was off a maintainer for, I don't know, 6 or 7 days. And since it has the Wi-Fi that's always on, has that little blue light, when that battery gets super low, it'll set off the door popper on the passenger side. It scared the holy shit out of me because I'm in here, I'm just finished, landscaping, and I come back in with the tool and the popper goes off and I'm like, what the hell? And the door popped open and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Who the hell's here? It was so crazy. And it happened a couple of hours later too. I was like, oh, that was weird. So I closed the door and then a couple of hours later, pa-ping! And when these pop, they're loud as hell. So it was very, very weird. And then I checked the battery in the back and it was low, put in the maintainer, no popping since. So I'm going to talk to the manufacturer about the receiver there and see if that's something we can turn on or off, or that was, I guess it's kind of a good indicator, normally they're for like house lights and it'll flash your light if the battery's getting low or if you lost voltage or whatever. But yeah, this scared the shit out of me because I thought someone was here and they had the keys to the limo and I was like, what the hell? Yeah, very bizarre. So you learn new stuff every day, right? Yeah, get ready for more electrical stuff this coming week. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going over to the Space Coast to grab those parts, then coming back here. And if we get the time, I got to double check fitment and all of that stuff, make sure I have all of the parts. Then we'll install a new distributor. If we don't do it tomorrow night, then we'll do it Tuesday night. And then what else do we have? Then I'll show you guys the wiring under the dash and how all of that stuff works. So we're getting a lot closer on the limo and making it far more reliable than it's ever been. So very, very, very close. Very happy with it so far. Plus the airbags are holding. They've been up at 100 PSI for 4 or 5 days now. So very happy with that. Very happy. It's still, it handles like a wet sponge, but it's still great. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions about any of the gear, other options, like I said, I have a Bell helmet, but there's 20 different manufacturers that make really great helmets. Simpson, RaceQuip, Zamp. There's all these other options out there. So definitely find one that you like, that you think is going to be in your price range, and that has the accessories that you want. There's a lot of really cool helmets out there, but they only have clear visors. And you're like, shit, it'd be nice to have a smoke one if it's bright out, or the dichroic ones, those are kind of cool. They have other venting options. Do they have pad options, cheek pads and head pad options? So look for other options. Don't get one that only has one clear shield. That's it. You're kind of limiting yourself. So look for the one that has the other options. and find the one that's in your budget and score a nice helmet and then customize it. You know, get it white, get it black, get it gray. My friend John has an American flag one that's super cool. You know, whatever you want to get. So there's something out there, but yeah, definitely have Santa bring you or tell Santa on Black Friday that you would really like one for Christmas, a really nice helmet. If you already have a really nice helmet, then you need really nice race shoes or a really nice race suit. So there you go. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thanks so much to all the new subscribers. Met a couple of really cool folks at a meet last night in Punta Gorda, and hopefully those guys are on the channel tonight and watching. Super cool kids rolling rolling a BMW, and then the other group of guys they came in their buddies Toyota. So really cool people. A lot of cool cars there. There's some monster cars over in Punta Gorda and Fort Myers and Port Charlotte. There's some. I saw a really big horsepower Cadillac CTSV last night. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. The guys I talked to them for like an hour. They were super cool. Kids that are just getting into car culture and working on their cars and doing all this stuff themselves, and they're definitely going in the right direction, which was really cool to see. I love seeing that. They're super motivated. So really cool. So yeah, thanks you guys for subscribing, and if you have any questions, comments, whatever, definitely put them down there. Shoot me a message, and you know how to find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's just my name. So that's it for tonight. I'm gonna put those socks in the laundry. We're gonna do laundry tomorrow while we're gone. And I think that's about it. We're gonna get this thing running, tuned, and driving nice and smooth, and with a gas gauge. That would be new. That'd be novel. So thank you guys very much for hanging out tonight. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you maybe tomorrow, but probably Tuesday night. All right. Have a great night. Oh, of course I didn't close it all the way. There we go. Yeah, like it's my first time.